Let me tell y'all something. And this is one of the most serious things that I've ever said. Maybe even one of the most emotional and personal things that I've ever said. And it has to do with DMX, and it has to do with his passing. But not only his passing, but his childhood and what he has went through. What we had went through. Now, my relationship with DMX, we wasn't super close, but we had time enough to be able to talk to each other. And coming from similar backgrounds, there's certain things that I need y'all to understand. And this is not what somebody told me. This is what he said to me. He said, when he was younger, his mom had took him to a children's home and said that they was just going to visit. And she left him there. She took him there and she left him there. And he was too little to be there, too little to understand how to defend himself, how to take care of himself and everything else. But he did it. And he survived it. And we all have our ways of dealing with it. I've been through that system. I've been through that. I know what it's like when people think that adults don't care about children. I know what it's like to run the streets, sleep on the train, sleep in the hallways, try to sleep at friends' houses, have people tell you can come stay at their house, and their brothers are trying to mess with you, or even their fathers and adults and uncles and shit. I know what it is like. And we all handle it differently. We all have our demons. When people would see me and say how angry I was, they didn't understand what I had endured and what I went through. And as soon as me and DMX came in contact with each other, as soon as me and Earl came in contact with each other, we already knew what was done to that spirit. And it makes you overly aggressive. It makes you seem angry to people. It makes you seem mad to people. So people try to find whatever they can in order to overcome that. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to drinking. Some people turn to other things. People wonder why we give so much. Why the money that I make now, right? I give most of my money away to children who are in foster care and going through situations. You know why? Because there was nobody to do that for me. There was nobody to do that for me. So I do that. I give back. I try to make everybody happy. I try to keep everybody good because of what I may be dealing with on the inside. Everybody's fighting their own fucking demons. So when I think about it right now, I think about the fact that when a certain amount of peace comes along, why do you think, let me tell you why Roxanne and Shantae don't drink or don't use drugs. You know why? Because I'm so afraid to find some fucking peace in it that I would never stop. I'm so afraid to find some fucking peace in it. I still now fight with going to sleep. When I'm up and I'm posting 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not happy that I'm up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning posting, knowing that I gotta start my day all over again. But that's because when you go through those systems and you go through that, you learn how not to sleep. You learn how not to sleep. So you up, and every time somebody shows you the least little amount of some type of deceit, or you catch somebody wrong, you so quick to let go because you know that as soon as you let your guards down, as soon as you trust somebody, something bad can happen. Something really bad can happen because you've done it. To miss out on a childhood, and then people wonder why you make the mistakes you make. Yeah, I make mistakes all the time. And they say, oh, you probably suffer from arrested development. Oh, you probably have this, you probably have that. No, I went through some fucking shit. supposed to. And it's just so hard when you see people saying mean things and doing mean things, and even when you online and people are posting and saying negative things and saying all this other foul shit, you learn to just see past it. You learn how not to you get a tough skin because of it. So my heart is hurting right now. But in a way, I know that he has found some fucking peace. I do. And I'm saying this right now because for all of us who have experienced it, for everybody that's been out there that has went through the foster care system and had a bad experience, because I'm not going to say all foster parents is bad, because I have a sister who's a foster care parent because she wanted to be one of the good ones. When you have been a check child, that means they take them and they take you in their house because they only want a fucking check. And then you go into this fucking hip-hop field and they only fucking nice to you because you're a commodity and you're making them some fucking money. It's like this cycle never fucking stops. It just never stops. Oh my God. So just know that there were people that were out here that were trying to help him. People that he could talk to. But you can't, nobody can fix what is unreachable inside of you. And it's just rough. And I just need to say that. So if you know a child and you see a child in foster care, or you see a child that's going through something, man, help them. Say something. Say something to their parents. You know, do something. Because you never know who that child is going to grow up to be. You never know who that child is going to grow up to touch. You never, ever know. You just don't know. And you just don't know. So I'm just saying, anybody that has been through it, I know it's hard, and I know that you're dealing with it, and I know you done seen enough social workers to save your lifetime, but maybe there is some type of therapy you get. Sometimes it's not even about wanting to grow up and be rich and have money. That's not it. It's not wanting to grow up. It's about wanting to find some peace, some happiness, a family that is yours. That's what you really want. That's all you want. I took in kids because I wanted kids to feel happy. I wanted them to feel a place that they could go and be loved. And yeah, my mouth may be foul, but they know they would never be hurt. They know they would be fed. They knew I would share my last. That's all you want. That's all you want. That's all you want. You know. So I needed to say that. I just needed to say that.
Because at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, it's going to be God's will. It's always going to be God's will. You try to understand what his, why he does what he does, and it's going to end up with a headache. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Ecclesiastes 3. There is a season for everything, and a time for every matter under the heavens. A time for giving birth, and a time for dying. A time for planting, and a time for uprooting what was planted. A time for killing, and a time for healing. A time for tearing down, and a time for building up. A time for crying, and a time for laughing. A time for mourning, and a time for dancing. A time for throwing stones, and a time for gathering stones. A time for embracing, and a time for avoiding embraces. A time for, a time for embracing, a time for avoiding embraces. What? Come on.
It is so sad that a legend is gone. So sad. I think you heard it from his sister, what they went through. Some parents are not supposed to be parents. The DMX mom gave birth to them at the age of 18. In America, the African Americans, the way they are treated, I don't know. Most of them live in poverty, in abject poverty. They live in the streets, in the holes. And this makes them, a young girl by the age of 10. She has started taking drugs. From taking drugs, she's sleeping on the streets. She's sleeping around. And the next thing, boom, she gets pregnant. And what happens? she carries the baby, gives birth to the baby, or might live together with the man that got her pregnant. And before you know it, she have already had a child. It's 2 children, 3 children. And all these black kids, because there is no money to take care of them, they drop out of school, they are not properly cared for. Their parents are taking drugs. The children grow up in the streets and they start taking drugs also. Then, sometimes they are taken to the homes where, to care homes. That is something like motherless babies home, where they take kids that don't have parents. You see, those kids, they have parents, but because their parents are tired of taking care of them, they just dump them there. You see, DMX was tricked by the mom because the dad abandoned them and probably left with another woman to another place. And she was left with, I think, 3 or 4 kids. That's DMX with the siblings. And they were tricked that they wanted to go and visit a care home. And when they got there, they didn't know their mother had already planned to dump them there. And the next thing, she signed the paper and they were thrown into there. She left because she wanted to be free, to continue with her drug life and street life. So the children being in that home, imagine what will be going through a child's head. Thinking, why am I here? That place is supposed to be for children without parents, abandoned children, or children that their parents died, or children that their parents died, their mom died while giving birth to them. But these kids, they have father, they have mother, but because of selfish reasons, the parents that bring them into this world just dump them in that place to fend for themselves. So they grow up having hate, having strong mind, feeling rejected, feeling self-low esteem, feeling abused. Even when that place is even better for them than be with their mom, because their mom brings in her boyfriends and the boyfriends beat them up, the boyfriends abuse them, their mom beat them, their mom allowed her friends to beat her children in her presence. So what kind of children do you expect to produce? They will grow up being tough because they will never forget what they went through. They will grow up having self-low esteem, having hatred for everything around them, being sad, depression. Whatever a kid goes through in a childhood affects them in adulthood. So we must be very careful while bringing in children into this world. It's better you don't even get pregnant than having those children and dumping them wherever. Look at the sad life of this guy. They never knew that DMX was going to be a very talented guy. Some children, they have future, but because of their upbringing, they die on their way growing up, or they end up not being able to achieve those dreams. But look at this guy, DMX. He fought. When he got out of the care home, he was growing. He had to be sleeping in people's house, begging them to allow him to squat with them. Imagine what he went through. If you see his picture, he was so thin and so haggard, trying to survive on the streets. The friends he even went to, they introduced him to taking hard drugs, and they even mixed him cocaine inside. He took it and, the thing started touching his brain. And once you start taking it, you start taking it. You can't live without it. All these things led him. He started stealing. He had to even steal to feed, to survive, to put clothes on his body. He had to go through a lot. And if he's stealing, they'll say, those black kids, they steal. Do they do anything? That's the only thing they do. Bad blood. No! You don't know what made that child go into those kind of life. It's poverty. Even the mom that brought him to this world, poverty made her dump her children. That is why I don't blame her much. But for the fact that you have brought the child into this world, you can change how things are gonna be by providing the best you can, going to government for help. It doesn't only happen in America. You even have opportunities, lots of opportunities. Come to Africa and see children being useless, children being killed without nobody caring. Their own is even better. We go through worst and we survive it. We are used to it. It's just like our identity. But parents in Western world, America, Europe, Canada, all over, their own is even better. That they can go and meet, they can get help better than the Africans. Look at, they didn't know he's going to be a very, very, very talented guy. And he struggled all through this pain. And he still made it. He still made a name for himself. And when he became popular, that is when they will start respecting him. But the pain in his head, the pain he has gone through has already eaten deep. It has already formed part of him. He fought for his life. I thank God that he has kids. And I know that he tried his best to give his kids better life. Because The money he made it for them, you know. He didn't want his kids to he didn't carry his kids and go and dump them like how his parents dumped him in the care home. So I don't know how long I'm going to weep. I don't know how long I'm going to weep because of this guy. This DMX, the music of this guy. I started listening to his music as a child and I loved his music up to today. But now, if I try to listen to it, I will listen to it without tears falling down from my eyes, knowing fully well that he's gone. He's gone forever. At his young age, just 50 years. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. The kind of life they let the blacks live in Western world is so sad. They don't care. They don't care about us. But I don't want to talk too much. I just said, DMX, may your soul rest in peace. May you rest in power. I know that you had a second chance to give your life to Christ. And I know that now you are living as a bigger legend than you lived in this life. You proved to the world that you are a great man. One of the greatest. Rest in power. Rest in peace. DMX. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.